So, I just oh, whoa, there's double audio, 1 second. I just discovered that I can do this. Things can go for a ride on my hat. Ooh. Naughty chatters get put on the brim. I can actually say get rotated, idiot. Next time I've got Hawthorne or Fido or Memoria in a call, I could actually genuinely put them on my hat and spin them. Okay, one more. I'm sorry, I'm easily amused. Alright. Welcome on in, guys. Just turn you a little bit. No, that's... There we go. How's everyone holding up? You have a good 1 day without me, your big boss? The correct answer is no. No, you had a horrible day without me. You were devastated. Any other answer results in a pay cut. Doing good. Went to a VTuber concert this weekend. Oh, it didn't happen to be that one at Annie Revo, huh? I heard some things about what happened at Annie Revo, and that's pretty diabolical. Not gonna lie. Imagine paying over $100, not for like the con tickets, but for the VTuber concert itself, only for it to like shut down after like a song and a half as a HoloLive concert. Holy shit. I know that I would lose my marbles if I spent that much money for a HoloLive concert and it didn't pan out. No refunds. Oh yeah, no, there is no refunds. But that's Annie Revo. Nope, it was a small concert in LA. Okay, so you got good stuff going on. That was all Annie Revel's fault. I mean, yes, but do you honestly think the con goers are gonna care? They went to see HoloLive and they didn't get to see HoloLive. Hold on, Mini-Me is getting a little distracting. I'll put you right there. Alright, I turned the fan on. Is that too loud? Oh, now I've got... There we go. Mini Katya's adorable. Yeah! Look at that! I'm honestly... Okay, Mini Katya exists to help with long-form essay videos. I'm trying to figure out what else I'm going to be using her for at the moment, and there's not a whole lot because she was built for the long-form essay videos that are still in progress, so it's a silly prop at the moment. What happens if I stick her on my boobs? That's some interesting movement choices. Alright. Say goodbye to Mini Katya. We're gonna get into the meat and the cheese of this stream. Very puntable. Yes, you could definitely soak it in milk and then suck the milk out of it and then throw it against a wall over and over and over again. let's move some of my setup around. I'm just gonna put my keyboard in my lap so it's easier for me to finagle. Bye, mini boss. Milk, you say? You guys don't know that, you guys don't know the reference? Great, I sound like a I'm trying to say sociopath and psychopath at the same time. A scyther? Yeah, I'm a fucking scyther from Pokemon. Alright, so, the idea, I started sketching something roughly, and then I stopped, and I'm like, wait, why am I doing this in the silence of my room, in the quiet of my office, when I could be doing it in front of you guys and getting your input? And so I stopped, and I'm gonna continue it now. But basically, the idea is a board game. Revolutionary, I know. But the idea is that it would be the rat reconnaissance mission. And so I, like, the 6 playing pieces, it'd be maximum 6 players. We'd have 6 different rats, one colored for each faction that they start in. So, like, we'd have an orange rat that's, like, you know, scouting around Gan Eden, a green rat that's scouting around Nakota, pink for Seraphine, purple for Corruptor, all that, you know? And, like, you'd start the game with your faction bonus, so whatever rat you choose to be, you get, like, bonus resources of one kind. And you'd get 3 mission cards. And your goal is to go around the map and complete each of your mission cards. And there's, like, a gate here, like, these little blue gates. Those would be, like, teleportation spots. Not exactly how gates work in the real world, but in this board game world, I was thinking, well, if you go there, like, you could teleport to the gate exactly opposite from it. Right? Or you could just walk entirely through on the path. So that could be, like, a function. That'd be kind of neat. In the middle, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be like, okay, well, this is where dice would be thrown, or maybe, like, we could put a pin there, and this could be, like, an actual, like, roulette wheel. That's how a roulette wheel looks, by the way. And so every turn you would spin it, and the number it lands on is the number of spaces you get to go. Or maybe it could be, like, instead of numbers, it could be like little pieces of dialogue, and you would have to follow whatever it lands on. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it should be numbers, or do you think it should be actions? I feel like I want to have action cards, though, already. So having actions and then action cards might be too much. Hello, beautiful gold girl. I mean, I make it a gold and I cook it a spaghetti. Actually, I don't cook it a spaghetti. Yo, my face is... Ah, there we go. I'm sorry, you know that saying that everybody's mothers would tell them growing up not to make funny faces or cross their eyes because then, you know, their face would be stuck like that? For one horrible moment, I thought my face was stuck like this, but I fixed it. Hold up, rats with Nakodians? You. Well, no, because everybody's on a reconnaissance mission for me. So the aim of the game is I have unleashed a rat into every faction, and they have to collect 3 important things for me, or they have to complete 3 missions for me, and then return to the casino. Roulette middle for sure, hell yeah. It's good numbers, but how do you define them? Well, it won't, well, I mean, functionally, it can't be a proper roulette wheel, because then we'd have, like, numbers like 20 in there, right? Like, no. We'll figure it out when we get to the issue of balancing the game so it's actually playable. Hold on, let me... There we go. So I just had to shift my OBS so I could see. Okay, good, you can see my cursor, I wasn't sure. So, okay. Here I've got all the logos, so let's copy them over real quick. And this way we also have like our color palettes. I also dipped into our press kit and I got like our official fonts and stuff. I showed her a picture of the smile to a friend at a concert, and he went, "Nope, I think he was scared of Katya." Why would you be scared of me? You don't trust me? You don't trust me? Spinner in the game of life goes from 1 to 10. We could have something similar, but with an odd number, maybe 1 to 7. 3 red, 3 black, 1 green. Ah, well, that could be an idea. Okay, so where is... There we go. I was thinking like at the beginning of every path where each of the SABLETOONS start would be like the logo of the faction that they're getting the bonuses with. So like I'm thinking if you start maybe as a corruptor, well, corruptor, but you start as a rat in the corruptor faction, you have 3 tokens. Like everybody gets 3 tokens that allow them to do a bonus action to sabotage other rats. So corruptors would get 3 corruption tiles. And whenever you run into another rat on the board, if you land on the same space as them, you can give the owner of that rat a corruption tile, and that would make them skip an entire turn. Maybe like the Gone Eden rat would get 3 sabotage. And so what that would do is if you run into another rat, you would take one of their mission cards and swap it with another person of their choice. So you could collect all the items and clear an entire mission, but then you get hit by a sabotage card and all of a sudden your items are useless because you've got an entire different mission now. Can you draw me in it? I mean, sure, Hawthorne. I mean, I've got like the corruptor area over here. I could put you there. Or I could put you on one of the cards. Does each role have a unique win condition, or does everybody have the same end goal? So, everybody has different goals, but at the same time, they're all kind of similar. So my idea was, okay, everybody gets a starting bonus, so that's what we're figuring out right now. There are resources on the board that you can collect by hitting certain random squares, and you have mission cards. So at the beginning of every game, everybody is given 3 mission cards. And on the mission cards, it has like a written blurb of what your mission is, and then like the 3 items that you need to collect, and how many of those items you need. So as you walk on a tile with one of your items, you can then put it on your card. Maybe it'd just be like one of each item, right? Once you clear the card, you slide it under here, and then it's done with your resources. And it's very possible you could have 3 identical mission statements, so you need to collect each item 3 separate times. Want to participate? I can be a chaos card. Ooh, hell yeah, we could have like a chaos card. So everybody gets 3 missions. Every rat gets 3 missions from the casino. And once they complete all 3 missions, they have to return back to their starting faction square. So if the Gone Eden rat completes all of the Gone Eden missions, but for some reason they're all the way in Seraphine right beside the portal, if they take their next turn to get to the portal, and they can teleport over here, they just have to make their way back up to their starting Gone Eden space right near the casino. The casino's in the middle, that's where the roulette wheel is, and the starting squares. However, while you're on your way back, you can still be sabotaged, so you gotta avoid the other rats. The rat that wins is the rat that gets that has their debt cleared and they get turned back into a human. Pot of greed. Pot of greed. So, that would be like the core way that the game is played. You complete your missions and then you get back to the casino. Every rat has their own unique way to sabotage everyone else. The resource deck would be like off to the side, and that would be the actual like, oh, this is the coin you need to collect. Oh, this is the hat you need to buy. Oh, this is the dice you need to steal. So that would be its own separate deck. And the event deck. I know it seems like there's a lot of cards and decks and resources, but trust me, I feel like the resources I might actually make into like little coins so that they're easy to just like slap on top of here. So the event deck would be, okay, you've got your regular blank squares, you've got your resource squares, and then you've got your wild card squares. And your wild card squares, you would draw from the event deck, and the event deck could have cards like, again, swap the furthest left-hand mission that you're holding with the person on your right, kind of shit. Or whirlwind, everybody exchanges one mission. Or overtime, you get an extra mission. Or hours cut, you have a mission taken away, so you only have 2 missions to go. That kind of thing. Or lose a turn, or roll again. Typical event deck kind of stuff. I hope this doesn't sound like too complicated. Do you think this is like too much, or is this like conceived well enough? Because I was kind of like goofing around, and I think I'm making something really cool. There could be a teleporter malfunction if you roll a 1 or something. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe to use the teleporter, you have to roll an even number or an odd number on the roulette. So like if you land on the teleporter and you want to use it, you rotate violently once, and depending if it's even or odd, will allow you to move. Gotta define those more clearly, otherwise it could seem convoluted. Oh yeah, no, I absolutely understand that. Yeah, and then the event cards, like, they could be just, like, for flavor. They could be themed after every faction. They could be designed, maybe, like, one of us, like, I could have Hawthorne do some bullshit on an event card, like, a weird fucking dragon swoops down and, bites off your leg. Lose all your resources. Yeah. Breams your bones. Solid so far, but going any more complex at this point will get a bit confusing. No, I think this is, like, as far as I want to go. I just need to actually make cards and come up with ideas for things. But, like, again, I was just sitting here brainworming when I went, wait, why am I doing this alone when I could be doing it with you guys? And I want to get your opinions, too. Somebody said pot of greed earlier, and that's all I can think of, and I'm mad. Because, like, now I want to make a rip-off pot of greed card. Pot of greed. You steal one resource from everybody. Slot of greed? Wait, slot of greed. Wait, I gotta write that down. Slot of greed. Jar of gluttony. Yeah, okay, so 3 corruption tiles. So, the corruptor rat can make people skip their turn. 3 sabotage. The gun-eaten rat can have people trade cards. Can you add an RTS dating sim minigame? I gotta add a fishing side quest. Fishing minigame. Let's see. Seraphine. What should the Seraphine buff be? So, they're all about the goddess's blessing, so... What could a goddess blessing be? Then you gotta add crafting and a house builder. I'm going to kill you. Every MMO just eventually kind of develops into the same thing. Always the fishing, always the house, always the thing. And we always fall for it every single time. We always eat it up. We chew at the bit. I will admit I'm the same way. Like, when Infinity Nikki was just like, oh my god, you guys get to make your own houses. I was like, holy shit. When Genshin Impact was like, you get to have your own houses. I was like, holy shit. Like, we're simple creatures. We're just trying to recreate The Sims in every single game, but with extra steps. Immune to sabotage. Oh, that's a good one. Seraphine would have 3 immunity. Let's see. 3 Zeiton. Do I want it to be Zeiton to have a personal boost or a sabotage boost? I feel like we've got 2 sabotage, 1 personal. I feel like, okay, how about 3? You start off with 3 resources. At random. So they pick from the pile of poker chips. And they get to start with 3 random resources when nobody else starts with any. Event card. Toon Rumble. Each player spins the wheel. Whoever rolls the highest is granted the boss's blessing and avoids the next negative card effect. That'd be kind of fun. Gan Eden. I feel like Gan Eden could also have an immunity. Nature calls. Nature calls. How fast were you thinking you wanted the games to go? I honestly didn't have like a time frame in mind. Just like a basic kind of play style. Nakota can influence the board more than the players. Oh, that's smart. That's smart. How about... I'm not sure, but we'll do 3 something for Nakota. I gotta think about Nakota a little bit more. And the Chiron Rat, because we love to gamble, we get... We get the ability to swap cards 3 times with other players. 3 swaps. Blindly. We're not allowed to see, but we can consider it a sabotage. So 3 swaps at random. So if you start off with like a really shit card and you want to swap with another player, they have no choice. Gan Eden. Their whole thing is medicine. What the fuck do you do with medicine in a board game? Except maybe heal corruption, but corruption only lasts a turn. I mean, what is medicine but extrapolated poison, yes? I'm sure, now this is just conjecture, but people who are very good at medicine, in theory, are also really good with poison, because it's the same chemical, just used in different ways. So maybe it would work the same as the corruptors in immobilize for 1 turn. Poison. Sorry, not Gan Eden. Did I say Gan Eden? I meant Nakota. Land on a bad spot, get shot by the boss. Lunch over, see you around. Have a good one, Des. A professor once told me all medicine is poison because they were designed to inhibit something. Ah, yeah, so it's, you gotta be careful with that one. That one could be considered a controversial opinion. Yeah, Nakota is the green one. There we go. Nakota seems like a medieval Vietnam. Trap tiles on the board. Some event cards could get health back. You don't die when low on health, but your movement's reduced. You only move a maximum amount of spaces. I feel like that could be covered just, though, by the event deck in general. Final input. A nuh-uh card that negates the opponent. I mean, that's what the Seraphine has. They have 3 nuh-uh cards. So let's say I wanted to swap at the beginning with a Seraphine. The Seraphine could choose to use their immunity to stop my swap, and then I just lose my swap and they lose their immunity. Or they could take the swap and keep their immunity for later in the game. It's all about strategy. Dosage makes the poison. Okay, let's grab this logo. Since they're more in tune with nature, I would alter the board with swaps of tiles, perhaps trap the board, but only for others. Poison trap tiles. Oh! That's a good idea. That's a great idea, actually. So, poison trap. That was a really good idea. Poison trap, so the Nakota rat can put down 3 spots on random tiles, so if somebody lands on that, they miss a turn. Hey, 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 will you please sign my forehead? Hey, 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 NPC, I'm on it. Get over here. Give me your goddamn forehead. Give me that billboard. The one issue with poison trap is that it would need like a separate resource, like a little coin or a sticker or something to put on that tile. Maybe each roll has like 3 little discs, 3 little colored discs. So if you put it on a square, like you put the poison trap, you can put that on a square as a little coin. Would that make it too similar to corruption tiles? I mean, sabotage and swap is pretty similar too, but for different reasons. They don't all have to be super unique. They just have to be, like, balanced between each other. They all have to provide some advantage that makes sense thematically for the faction. Should each faction area on the board have a unique danger? Fangsie playtime. Since Fangsie likes to play with Katya's ears, Zeit and Rat and Casino Rat must switch 1 mission card. Shut up! Shut up! She doesn't get to touch my ears. Nobody gets to touch my ears. The only person touching my ears is the talented Zeiton surgeon that's gonna touch those ears. Once my unfortunate circumstances of my birth are rectified, I will truly be a proper person. Really, people judge me. Alright. Let's see. Seraphine logo, Nakota logo. Now this was like a rough sketch of what I want the board to be. I'm not sure if I want it to be like kind of super angular like this, or if I want it to be round. So after I'm done placing all the basic ideas, let's draw another draft of this board now that we've got a better idea, and then we can figure out the amount of tiles that we want. No one touches your ears. How do you know that your ears are a sensitive zone, though? Well, I mean, my nanny back in the day, like, she would wash my hair, she would scrub my hair, and she would, like, sometimes scratch behind the ears, you know, get the hair clean there. I'd always fall asleep in the tub when she did that. It was very silly, very silly. But, like, I feel like that's a normal thing for any person if you massage their scalp, especially behind the ears. It's like a reflexive, relaxing thing. Ganiden logo? Like, I'm not special for that. Ganiden. Go. Corruptors. So Fido does that with you? No, she doesn't! We'll eat all the furniture if you remove them. I was wondering if the board was going to be a presser board or going to be a Catan or Betrayal of the House or the Hill type generated board. No. I'm just drawing this. I was just like, I want to make a board game. I want to draw a board game. I want to illustrate a board. I want to design a board game today. No. I don't have any templates and I don't have any like generated backgrounds or whatever. I'm just scritching things. Hi, Katya. You and everyone today looking radiant. Why, hello there, Dylan. Not looking too bad yourself, sugar. Since this is about the tunes, how about we include the Alkalites, Howdies, and the Pup Force in there somehow? I'm sure that I could probably put them, like, on the actual event cards. But this game, you tunes are the main character. You're on a mission. Let's see. One more logo. The best logo, by the way. The sexiest logo. I want this logo on a flag so badly. I've been poking management not so subtly, like, hey, so, when are we getting flags? I want faction flags. I want flags as merch. For me. When can we make personal merch for me of our flags? I want them on our walls. On my walls. On my office walls. Because the logos are really good. I'm gonna try and push them for VExpo, but I'm not holding my breath. I also want to do, like, I have a few merch ideas for like customized things that I want to do down the line. Wait, hold on. Can you eye roll? I mean, yeah, yeah. I can eye roll pretty like successfully. I think. I don't know. Say some dumb shit. Say some dumb shit, and then you'll see it in action. If we win, we get head pats from boss. If you win, you get to become a human again. What I might do is I might create 6 rats, and then actually give them human forms. Like they'd have a card, or maybe like a just this like fun little flavor text, you know? So like every rat gets like a little rat token, and then you get a character card associated with it. It's not like important, but it's there that you get to have and hold. And so on the front it'd be your rat, your toon, and on the back it would be your human form. I think that'd be kind of fun. Some dumb shit. How about Reddit isn't that bad? That's crazy. Reddit is where the lowest common denominator spends 80% of their time. The other 20% of the time, it's spent on 4chan. But that's only for the lowest common denominator. Chiron flag and propaganda poster sounds nice, right? As a Redditor, I feel called out right now. Hipster. Find better websites. Oh, but Miss Sable, I hear you cry. I hear you whinge and moan. There is no other websites on the internet.com. There are. You're just too placated to look for them, and that's what makes you the lowest common denominator. You gotta find those forum sites that are just like, they've got like maybe 100 people on the maximum, and they've got their own culture. Those are the best ones. Now everybody and their grandma's on Reddit, on 4chan, on Twitter. Nobody's on Blue Sky, let's be honest. Going on Blue Sky doesn't make you special. Yeah. No, what up, Reddit? Kendrick Lamar. Crazy. Blue Sky deader than dead. Blue Sky weirdly feels like the worst part of Tumblr. Like, don't get me wrong, Twitter also has Tumblritis because that's where all the people that left Tumblr evacuated to. But it feels like they kind of shifted again, and only those that were like super duper condensed in their idiosyncrasies migrated successfully over to Blue Sky. And so the culture there is obscene. Like, not in like a sex way, but just in insufferable ways. Like, true active Blue Sky users, I find yes, I'm Blue Sky racist, by the way. I find are typically like they're in their they're in their 20s and 30s, but they never left being 15. There we go. I got it out. I'm being censored by Big Blue Sky. Here's some flowers for you to keep or eat or whatever you want to do. Eat? What kind of fucker eats a flower? As Metal Gear Solid 2 said, internet turns into a couple of echo comfort chambers, and we need to Hold on. I need to take a sip of my GamerSupps code Sable for 10%. I need drink. My words are starting to gum together. Okay, let's just combine the logos. Sure, let's combine the notes. Let's make them slightly transparent. Alright, so we've got our basic ideas down. Hey boss, what about DeviantArt? Last time I gave you flowers, I said I'll take them to my office, then I'll eat them later with the creepy but hilarious grin that you had. Oh! Well, here's the thing, Sugar Plum. You're a bit brain dead to believe anything I say. I say this as something you can trust in. Why do you take anything that I say seriously? I'm running a business here. Anyway. Yes, thank you for the flowers. It's very sweet. Tree hugger, now eater. I would never hug a tree. I'm no pussy. We're not supposed to take your words at face value with full trust? I had to hold myself back from giving you the Deku voice when I said that. Alright, let's give this a shot. Let's get the mirror tool in there. So we've got... Do I want it to be hexagonal? Or do I want it to be circular? Like, part of me wants it to be circular, I'm gonna be honest. This is just to block out the factions. I feel like this would benefit from being circular. Really want to listen to some real, like, nice, crunchy music. I want to listen to some Rammstein. I want to listen to some Black Veil Brides. Make it a roulette circle. Yeah, well, the reason I was thinking circle at all was, again, because I have a roulette in the middle, and so having, like, the sharp edges and then not having it mirrored on the playing board would feel a little bit off. So, like, here's my idea. We've got the tiles. And then we have the roulette just a little bit in. And then we've got each of our factions right around the ring, and the faction is where you start. Let's just copy that, drag it up. What if hexagonal central navigation, circular outside navigation, or reverse? Well, I appreciate being sweet for doing these things. And I know what you said was a joke, but I don't appreciate being called brain dead. I'll keep that in mind, Dylan. Though I will say, I may be one of the few people that could get away with actually saying that. We are focusing. She hates Nakota. I don't hate Nakota. I just hate the people in it. Disgusting place. What's the name of your brother's business and where is it located? It's less of a business and more of a family venture, and it's back at his new residence, the new Sable residence, new Sable household, deep in the heart of the Chiron Empire. It's not beside the castle. The manor's on the opposite side. Takes like a day and a half via transport. A lot longer to walk. Just want to make cigars out of Ninsen flowers when the Empire takes over. Oh yeah, that'd be an excellent victory lap. Stunt on those whores. I love Gaul. I just hate the Gauls. The absolute gall of those people. Okay, so the idea is that, like, these tiles are more standard in the middle, and then, like, when you go out into the factions, they're a bit more illustrated. So the ones that are, like, in the ring outside are, like, uneven. And you've got, like, path tile kind of ones here, but they all still count. We have bigger ones near the starting area. I don't know, maybe I should, maybe when I'm done stream here today, I'll go to Red. I'll go to the CEO and be like, Red, I made a board game. Help me make this board game, Red. My CEO will look at me and he will sigh. He will let out a big, long sigh. He is a very tired man dealing with us. Red. Yeah, Red. CEO Red. CEO of a Variance project. We love Red. Very chill guy. We've probably given him 1 billion gray hairs by now. Looking at your board game like a parent looking at a child's drawing. You're so mean, Artemis. Especially when choosing South Park as your first game streamed. Okay, I need to be fully transparent here. I only recently got into South Park. South Park was not something I grew up watching, so I had no context for how bad South Park could really get. All I knew was just like some of the edgier jokes from some places, right? I have been catching up, so now I get it. But when I pitched South Park Stick of Truth, all I knew is that it was like raving reviews of a game, and everybody liked it, and from what I saw from South Park so far, it was just kind of edgy, whatever humor, right? It was like not TOS breaking in the slightest. And so I pitched it. I pitched it to the whole company. I pitched it to my bosses pre-debut, and I'm like, hey, look, this is like a South Park game, and this is the rating, and this is what everybody thinks of it. Is this something that I'm allowed to play? And they're like, what's South Park? And so I'm like, oh, well, I'll show you, like, some stuff from, like, Casa Bonita and the few episodes I've watched. Like, this is some good stuff, you know? It's silly, it's a bit edgy, but, you know, it's fine. I'm sure the game is just like that. And they're like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, alright, it's signed off. And then I started playing, and one of the first jokes of the game is choose your fantasy race, and they... Oh, that was a day at the office for sure. Editing those VODs down into proper videos is making what's left of my black hair gray. I mean, all things considered, though, they still let me have it on the schedule. They're letting me keep playing it. So. And, like, I'm allowed to do things like Postal down the line. So, it's actually pretty nice. Like, I have a lot of flexibility. Which I knew going into, you know, going into business with these fascinating strangers from your world. But it always kind of, like, makes me go, huh, when they say yes. Because a lot of time I'm expecting them to go, no! But so far, I really haven't been told no for quite a few things that I feel like I should have been told no for. Nice of them to let you finish, but be careful it gets worse. Yeah, I'm setting up proper censors. I don't want to spoil the game for myself, but I am actually going to look into the last 2/3 of the game and see, like, to what degree I'm gonna need to get censorship set up. Hi, Katya. Hi, Nanoha. Building a board game and talking shop. Talking shop. Need sensors on hotkeys for sure. Here's the thing, my hotkeys are so sticky. Like, to spin my hat, I have to hit my hotkey twice. Although to take it off, I can do it once. Like, jacket was twice, but to put it back on is once. Like, I don't understand why my hotkeys are behaving the way they do. Hope the censoring will still be pennies for a face. It's our main source of frags from the death pool. I mean, it's kind of funny. We are going to have Safe for Work Mambo. He's gonna pop up on screen when I need him. That's gonna be one of my main ways of censoring outside of the gun. Katya's very sticky. What the fuck do you mean sticky? By the time you get to Fractured, you're gonna need a pixelated filter for a few sections of the game. Is it that bad? I feel like, unironically, so far the game is worse than the show, and the show's gone some pretty insane places. But you know what, maybe it's not worse than the show, and it just feels that way because I directly have control over the buttons. Speaking of which, no tunes have died today. That's because I'm chilling. We're chilling. What show? South Park. Yeah, game is kind of different because it's interactive, yeah. Alright, how does that look? Yeah, I definitely like the circle more. And so my idea here was, like, we could have Memoria's library here. So we have, like, tiles that lead. So they wouldn't be, like, standard shape. They'd be kind of, like, organically drawn on. And then we'd have one there. Let's do the gate. And I thought, like, the gates between the factions was, like, a really fun idea. I like move this one just a little bit more. We've got Memoria's Yowie Square or whatever. Are the neighbor factions like corruptors next to the Seraphine canon, or is it all placeholder for now? Oh, this board game is not canon. It is a non-canon board game. This is just a fun little experiment and experience, you know? No, for canon things... No. This is not canon. We do not have 6 rats running around. Well, I mean, I do have 6 rats running around, but these specific rats are just made for the game, for the love of the sport. And the placement of the factions is kind of arbitrary because, well, I mean, corruptors don't really have a quote-unquote homeland. Corruptors are more of an idea. They're more of a people, so to speak. So they're a faction of people, yes, but they're kind of sprinkled all throughout. So me giving them an area on the map here is more representative than anything. And Gan Eden and Zeiton technically share the same land space for the most part. So giving them 2 separate spaces here, again, is more representative than anything. It would be nice if, like, I could design this. I worked with another artist, maybe somebody who's done board games before properly, and we found somebody that could code. Because I feel like, I don't know if I would ever get this printed as a real, like, physical board game, but I feel like having, like, an online version of this, kind of like how there's, like, online Game of Life kind of board games, that could be fun. I would love to play a board game with, like, my gen mates here, or with the Toons, maybe. Maybe, like, drag some people into the community Discord and play around. I feel like that could be lots of fun. But I don't have any coding experience outside of Ren'Py visual novels. So this would be a bit beyond my capability. Tabletop Simulator is your friend? I don't know what that is. Okay, so we got... So one in the middle, one in the middle. We got... main brick. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's make this one a little longer. I don't know if I want to make these into 2 bricks or just have like one long brick. Long, long man. It's a simulator for tabletop games. Oh, thanks, Tips. Could I play Lady Katya? Well, maybe when your shift is over, Beavis. I don't know, I still see some miscreants causing issues in the casino. Why are there miscreants, Beavis? Long Man Candy was actually pretty good. Is it? I've always seen those commercials and been curious. I wondered if they were always like Laffy Taffy. Because they kind of look like it. Okay, we're almost done with like the basic setup of the board. Then I was thinking like you'd be going off into the woods, so it'd be like a fake path down here with extra squares. Like I'd want the tiles on each area to kind of look like they blend into the background somehow. I don't know how I'd accomplish that, but... because, like, the whole thing in my mind's eye is illustrated, right? I wonder if maybe it would look interesting if I pushed some squares. Fun little asymmetrical kind of look. It's more like a gummy texture. Oh, interesting. I saw the other day Memoria had like a gambling chat simulation. I'm supposed to set it up with her so that like little character icons can be running around on the ground and you guys can kill each other, but I just have not had the time. So hopefully, not tonight, but sometime tomorrow it'll be ready. But that entirely depends on me. Okay, now some squares have more tiles than others. Like this one is 3, this is 2, this is 3, this is 2, this is 2, this is 4. So maybe that one out. Move these over just a little bit. What if instead of like proper straight lines, they're kind of like wavy? So like each faction is like the same amount of space, but kind of to mirror the circular area here, we kind of curve what space they have. I feel like this looks kind of cool. I feel like it looked a little bit more spider-like, actually. No, I feel like it's missing something. Like, I feel like we're almost there. I feel like we've almost cooked. Like, I feel like it has to be an organic shape. It can't be even. There we go. I actually really like this. Feels like there's a bit of personality now. Very first stream. Welcome on in, Crazy Ken. Now I just feel like it's squished a little bit because I made it top heavy. So internet censorship, huh? Y'all in the human world got fucked. First, it's the UK. Hearing that soon it's in the Americas. Not looking forward to that. It's gonna be a very interesting YouTube upload experience, I will say. Part of me wonders if, like, they're gonna go through, like, the banned games list and blacklist every single one of those games, because I know for a fact that some of the games that people, you know, would typically be playing will probably be added to a banned games list after their puritanical regimes swoop in and start implementing their own ideas. Britain, to be precise. Oh yeah, no, like it's moving to like the States in August. So like it's starting in Europe. China has already banned, like legally banned, all usages of VPNs. YouTube rolling out censorship on my birthday as well. That's crazy, Undying. How could you do this? Undying, how could you do this to us? Think of how many childhood traumas it would prevent, Katya. Absolutely zero. There will always be a way for people to predate on children. And in fact, the evolution of the internet to the point it's at is inherently predatory. The dissolving of spaces where children conglomerate and instead making it an amalgamation of every space. So removing the video games from Barney and Barbie.com and Lego.com and making MMOs incredibly, like, deleting all child MMOs and making the MMOs that exist be incredibly, like, viciously reliant on payment processors and microtransactions. And also making them, by and large, more mature. Like, it's good to have adult-oriented ones, but having there only be adult-oriented MMOs means that's where all the kids are gonna go. Having adult-exclusive online games, but having them open to the general public, that's where kids are gonna go. And to be fair, kids would go there anyway, but because all of their other spaces are gone, they just have nowhere else to go. Even though there's a YouTube Kids app, no kid in their right mind uses it because YouTube is a functional service. And YouTube put in the effort to sanitize its normal grown-up platform to be quote-unquote kid and child friendly. So there's really just 2 YouTube Kids apps. But at the same time, trying to cater to everyone means they cater to no one, and so they just get exposed to a lot of traumatizing shit. Newgrounds is interesting. Newgrounds is basically the same as it's ever been, but their management has become more progressive, which is... I'll let you come to your own conclusions as to how you feel about that one. DeviantArt has become a slop farm. Although, to be fair, it's been a slop farm for about 7 or 8 years. Like, I remember when I was younger, when I was on the internet, I'd play games on coolmathforkids.com or Addicting Games or Miniclip. With the death of Flash, those websites are so horrendously broken. Or Neopets, right? Like, the push for those places to exist, or to be advertised, or to be easily accessible just isn't there. A lot of those places do still exist, but there's no money put into them. They're not pushed, they're not advertised, and they're horribly broken, and the user experience has not kept up maintenance-wise. And so nobody uses them. A lot of people don't even know that they still exist. And the ones that do only go there for nostalgia. They're the older adults. All the kids are busy playing in adult spaces. It's like they tore down the playgrounds, they put a few sand pits in those places, and they told all the kids that they were welcome into the bar. Now, maybe they won't serve the kids alcohol at the bar because they don't have IDs, but a kid can fake an ID convincingly, and so kids are gonna get liquor. And you know what? Kids were gonna get liquor at the, like, wherever anyway, right? But the fact of the matter is they've got nothing else to do now, so all they're gonna do is get the liquor. Whereas before, they at least had a park to play in. I think that's gonna be my analogy. Now, using that, the broken system that advertisers purposely designed, payment processors purposely designed for maximum profit, they're now punishing us, the consumer, for using their product. And they're taking it away from those of us that actually can meaningfully consume it. They're not stopping the children, they're just stopping everyone else. Good afternoon, boss. Good afternoon, Monkey Chow. What is this board game about? I'm confused. Oh, no, we're just, we're designing a board game for fun. This isn't anything serious. This is just, we're chatting and we're doing some art kind of things, you know? The art is, like, the board game is kind of just our backdrop for conversation. Do you have different expressions you can use on your model? I mean, I've got the ones I can make with my face. And then I've got some toggles. I've only got a few of them, though. I didn't want a ton of different toggles when putting, you know, when requesting, you know, my spa treatment. Because I wanted to be able to make most of the expressions organically. But some that I do have are like that. We've got, like, the actual hat spin. Got my smoke, got my gun. But yeah, I wanted to be able to control most of myself just very organically. That way, I don't know, I just like the way it handles better, you know? Wait, are those new? No, they are not new. I've also got the eye highlight disappear and like a yandere kind of head shadow, and then I've got question mark. My favorite one to do, though, is to, you know, mix, because you can mix these. Are you questioning me? Do you have a question for me? Though most of the time it's super situational, so I tend to keep those for, you know, when Memoria pisses me off, or Hawthorne pisses me off, or Fido confuses me. We call this the money face. Okay, so we've kind of got like our basic layout. Now, why do I feel like this looks worse? Okay, we were just adjusting placement. Let's do one more sketch. The rings. Okay. Let's do this one more time, and let's do this real clean. Okay, let's put the rings on top, beside the logos. And actually, let's use... No, I think we could still, like, just use the regular pen tool. Let's combine these, make them transparent. And now that we actually know, like, we finalized the placement of these, and we adjusted some things. So let's just clean this up real quick. The board spins and has a compass on it. Yeah, in the center it has, in the center it's gonna have a roulette wheel. Who is your dentist? Those teeth are immaculate. Oh, well, why, thank you. I have a special guy in-house. He owes me quite a lot of money, so in exchange, he just fixes my teeth, and I just don't do anything to him. And you know what? This ring actually kind of looks a little bit like a roulette wheel. That's kind of fun. I didn't even recognize that, but we could color it to look like one. Have you ever woken up one day and wondered what it would be like to be an entirely different person? Like, not in like a depressed kind of way, but in like a clinical kind of way. In a, what would the logistics of waking up as a different person be like? Because sometimes I indulge in that fantasy. Like, sometimes I go, what would happen today if I woke up and I was Adele? Actually, that's a bad example because I've never thought of Adele specifically. Been watching a Freaky Friday, boss? No. Can I choose my new persona appearance? I mean, scenario-based. I mean, sure. Let's say in this case scenario, this usage case scenario, you can choose. If you could choose to wake up as a different person, who would you be? Has to be a pre-existing person, though. You can't customize them. What about the lead singer of Metallica? Joe Biden, Nicolas Cage? I don't know, I mean, I would say Ryan Gosling, but I can't do that because he's literally me. So, like, nothing would change when I wake up. Just like fucking waking up as Merlin. Waking up as a wizard, actually. I feel like that's a good thought experiment. You wake up and suddenly you're like a You're okay, in my case, I wake up and I'm a 70-year-old man with a long wizened beard, and for all the gentlemen in chat, you wake up and you're a 70-year-old woman. You've got like the crankled over fingers, you got the wart on the nose, you're like a witch version of Merlin. You got powers of the universe at your fingertips. What's the first thing you do in your current scenario? Let's say you stumble out of bed, you go downstairs, and your family, or if you have family or pets, treat it as totally normal. You are the only person that knows that you were not Merlin before this moment. Jostle your gostle. Yeah. You ponder the orb, of course. Do you, like, go back in time? Do you use your new wizard powers for good? I think my first course of action, personally, would be to figure out how long it lasts. Because if it's only lasting a day, then I'm not going to do anything with long-lasting consequences. But if it's going to last a long time and I'm not going to be turning back, I would immediately go for, like, the wizard, like, looks maxing stuff. I'd look into, like, making my riches. I'd look into seeing into the future and traveling, wizard style. Figure out how to cast spells first and foremost. This is under the assumption that it becomes, like, inherently in your soul. Like, you wake up and you know how to cast the spells. Because you are a wizard. You're a wizard, Merlin. Let's see. Okay, this is looking good. I think this is looking good. I think I'd use my new Merlin powers to make everybody virgins again. I would take away everyone's bragging rights, and I would force everyone to go back to square one. They'd be re-virginized. I'd cast a spell of takes away your bragging rights. So what is this? Variance Monopoly? No. This isn't Monopoly. Oh no, there would be so many Linux users. That's crazy. New Game Plus. Is this a continuous thing? Like, if you lose it again, does it not count? No, it's not a continuous thing. You just have to make it work another time. But nothing has changed. No, everything has changed because now you're all on an even playing field. And those who were, like, so haughty about it before have to shut up. Maybe the whole board, round and spinning? Yeah, maybe instead of a square board, we could make it a round board. Double virginity. No, those who were already virgins just get, like, they get one, like, genie spell granted. They get rewarded for their pain. In a world where sex stops existing, one man rises above them all to invent sex again. Tim Allen is the sex master. I don't know. What kind of weird, shitty 90s movie would it be? Mr. Sexo-Beat. Cherry Magic 30 Years Virginity Can Make You a Wizard. That was an interesting manga. In a world where sex stops existing. No, it didn't stop existing in Japan. They just started fucking robots instead and jacking off to you know, simulation pornography. Sex exists, but not in a real way. If everyone's a virgin again, would their children retroactively stop existing as well? No. Anybody that currently exists remains existing. Push these tiles in. Yeah, that looks kind of good. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Does anybody know how to code? I'd love to do a little online 6-person board game like this. Also, who was it that recently just came out and said that they got married? Was that Shiki? That's crazy. Mimi really started like a marriage trend. Do you think this will be like the death of the unicorn in the EN scene? I don't think so. I think there will always be unicorns. The algorithm was feeding me propaganda for Cyber 6, which is like this 80s, 90s cartoon, 80s, 90s Canadian cartoon that I'd never heard of until super recently. And by super recently, I mean like literally a couple of days ago. So I got curious and I looked into it. It's an Argentinian comic adapted by Canadian like studio that also did the original Batman animated series, but also worked with like an anime studio. It was like, and it had a massive budget, an original OP and ED. And they had plans to make it like this massive series, but they only ever made 13 episodes and then they killed the whole thing because it wasn't profitable. Which is insane to me. Like looking into it, then I started watching it because it's very short. I was able to chew through the whole thing in one sitting really while doing work. And it's insane! Level of creativity I have not seen out of a hero franchise or sci-fi franchise in ages. It gave me OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was like superheroes back when Marvel only had 3 movies. Like good. You know? What was the name again? Cyber 6. Wait, you got ads for it? There's like one like Twitter account that's like really hardcore posting about it over and over and over again, and for some reason the algorithm keeps feeding him to me. And he just keeps posting clips from the show. And so I watched a few of the clips from the show and I'm like, wait, hold on, this actually seems like something I would enjoy. And I had to dig into the Internet Archive to find the episodes. You can find them free on the Internet Archive, by the way. There's only 13 of them. Cross-dressing teacher. Here's the thing. Initially, it didn't clock to me that the teacher was cross-dressing as a guy, because her code name was Adrian, but I know a woman in real life who that's like her actual name. That's always been a feminine name to me. I didn't realize that, like, that was a male name. Like, until very recently. And so when the main character calls themselves Adrian, I'm like, oh, she's just like a very butch, lesbian-looking person. But no, in the show, everybody's just like treating her like she's a guy. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's like a secret identity. That's a male name? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, shit. All right. Canadian show, everybody. You can definitely tell it's got anime roots. Kind of felt a little bit like Ranma, but like without all the raunchy sex jokes. Ranma 1/2. Adrian's a bit androgynous. There's Adrian from the Rocky movies or Adrian Monk from the TV show. So worse Ranma. No. No, because for what it lacks in sex jokes, it makes up in sex appeal. If that makes sense. Hold on. Hold on, let me find it. Do you guys like goth chicks? Do you guys like emo women in spandex? I need a picture of the show, not of the comic. Well, okay. This basically looks identical to how the show looked. Let me just save this. Save image. Basically this. Right? Like, this was pre-Batman, but it was a goth chick that looked vaguely like Carmen Sandiego. There we go. Here's a still from the show. And no, this has been like my brain worm for the last couple of days. Here we go. Here's a still from the show. Yeah, no, it looks basically identical. But like, she's got a rack and everything. Like, she's curvaceous. And she's not like trying to be another thing. I guess she just decided her secret identity was an English professor. Which I can get, I suppose. Who does she fight? She fights like lab experiments? Like evil lab experiments that are trying to kill her? I've seen better. Yeah, I know there's better that exist, but like this isn't anime. This is like 90s cartoon. Looking like a Marvel Rivals character. You keep fucking... Don't talk about Marvel in front of me. I hate Marvel so much. It's so boring, so contrived, and I don't want to touch any Marvel properties. I don't care how people swear up and down that they're good. Any video game starring a Marvel character is shit. Any movie starring a Marvel character is double shit. Was it good once upon a time? Maybe over 10 years ago. No. Don't talk about Marvel Rivals. Disgusting. Do better? Yeah, do better. Listen to Memes Master. Do better. Was that a panther? Yeah. She has a panther companion. Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four was great, though. Who gives a shit? I hate for the love of the game. I don't care if you enjoyed it. It still sucks. This isn't about objective good or bad. It's about taste. And you don't have any if you like Marvel. But Spider-Man, everybody's talking about Spider-Man. Look, Spider-Man as a concept, fascinating. I could almost get behind the idea of Spider-Man. But he was bought and now is owned entirely by Marvel and is, you know, a soulless husk of his potential. And you know what? I like DC. I love DC, but I can barely stand DC films either these days. Like, because they fall into the same, like, kind of pitfalls that Marvel films do. Like, superhero genre in general is just very painful to consume. And I'm at the point where, even though I love Batman to death, I can't consume new Batman media. It pisses me off too much. Every time something new comes out, it's just like, oh, no, more Harley Quinn propaganda. Ugh, she's so annoying. Right? They wanted a cool feminist story. Great. They had a good one in the original animated series that she came from, where she was like kind of abused, but very smart and interesting and dynamic. Whereas now it's like manic dream pixie girl. I don't need no man. I shit on the Joker. I've got pigtails and I'm born sexy yesterday. Like, no, keep that away from me. That's garbage. If I wanted that, I would look for a character that does it right, aka the main character from Lollipop Chainsaw. But I don't need a shitty version of the main character from Lollipop Chainsaw. No, like OG Harley Quinn or nothing, right? Or her strange forced relationship with Poison Ivy pisses me off. Like, I get it, you want to have like a cute couple, but it went from like interesting potential interactions and some interesting interactions overall to like, again, just relationship slop and also strange overdependence on their dynamic and the butchering of every other dynamic in the series. I fucking despise Harley Quinn and everything that she's turned into because of the people in charge of writing her. And because of it, every other kind of character around her suffers as well. Batman and the Bat family, like, I don't know, just in general, it's eroded over time so much. I have such a hard time saying that I'm a Batman fan. Even though I am a Batman fan, I think it's because I'm a Batman fan that I'm so critical of it. Lollipop Chainsaw mentioned in the big 2025. Oh, you know there's a remake coming out? You know there's a remake of Lollipop Chainsaw being worked on that's going to come out soon? I'm excited for that. How do you feel about the Arkham games? Again, Harley Quinn was the worst part of the Arkham games, but the Joker design being super sexy balances it out. Speaking of Harley Quinn, Donna, is there a chance of you playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? As soon as I can get it to work on my PC, it's one of those things that I want to do. Though I don't want to start like 6 or 7 different kind of serialized games at a time. I kind of want to do either things that I can do 1 off on stream or 2 off on stream. And not glut my schedule with just this game part 7, this game part 4, this game part 9. I have 2 of those already running concurrently, so once I finish a serialized game, that's when it'll be a discussion to start the next one. Its remake is already out, but I don't think it did too well. Oh, when did the remake come out? I thought it was still in progress. Huh. I'm behind, I guess. feel like I'm missing something critical with these squares. I don't know why, and it's bothering me. Like, maybe I should just make them smaller in general. They don't need to be big. As long as you know where you're going. Maybe what I'll do is, because they've got such big spaces between them, I'll put like a dotted line. Kind of like how some video games use yellow paint. Katya, don't become a Let's Player, lol. Am I a Let's Player if I play games 2 times a week? Play games 2 times a week and then talk 4 times a week? Remake removed a bunch of the funny lines and censored a lot of the gore. Well, what was the point? POV, you remake a game for modern audiences, and the modern audiences are the 12-year-olds that you're scared of getting their parents offended. But yeah, Cyber 6, I was genuinely surprised that it was as good as it is. I was looking online, though, after watching the 13 episodes, and apparently the comic is, like, straight up a proper, like, hero-villain-esque superhero kind of comic. But, like, in the traditional sense, where they have blood, gore, and sex scenes. So, I've been hunting online for the last day or so, trying to find the scans, and it's actually pretty hard because they were all, like, it was originally an Argentinian comic, so it was all in Spanish, and so all of the English translations of the comic are fan translations, and they only had one that was ever released in French, and so, like, it's a mess. And there's, like, 16 volumes, and the show only ever covered, like, 4 of them. Maybe less? Oh, for a second, it looked like stream was dead, but I guess not. Okay, yeah, people are agreeing with my visual pathing. Yeah, maybe at the end of stream, I'll go to my boss. I'll go to the boss. I'll go to Red and I'll be like, hey, I've got a pitch here. Me and the Toons came up with something today on stream. What do you think? And then he'll digitally look at me and he'll just shake his head and he'll sigh. How do you feel about Hellsing, Katya? Pretty neutral. I've got no strong attachments to Hellsing. It's one of those things I don't have nostalgia for. So for what it's worth, I think it was entertaining. I think the character designs were peak. Now, typically, I'm not the kind of person that really likes Castlevania, like the animated show. Like, that's not typically my kind of show. But I found it charming. I will admit. I don't typically go for that kind of show. Mostly because the humor is so painfully millennial. Just watch it and you'll know exactly what I mean. But it's definitely like the Joss Whedon, he's behind me, isn't he, kind of humor. And I can't stand that shit. Marvel does it to death. But somehow the animated Castlevania series, it manages to be inoffensive enough that I can suspend disbelief and enjoy it. He's right behind me, isn't he, guys? Like, Scoop? Castlevania was fire until it wasn't. I know that there was more that came out recently, and I haven't watched it. I've only watched the first 2 seasons, if I remember correctly. Dracula and his wife couple goals. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Does Variance plan on making comics about the world? Variance has many plans, many of which I am not at liberty to talk about for various reasons, but you can expect extended pieces of media quite like that, yes. Like Dracula's right behind me, isn't he, Scoop? I'll say it, that Dracula design, it's absolute sex. It's not like most of the reason why I like the show, but it does help. What can I say? I'm a simple creature. It's like how magpies are distracted by shiny things. I see a good character design, I go eyeball big. Eyeball big. I go car horn awooga. There is some absolute diabolical edit of me going around right now, like where somebody has taken my head on Discord and cut off all of my hair and replaced it with just more skull, and my head is just bigger and it's expanded like an inflated balloon, and it drives me crazy because it is the funniest shit I've ever seen, but at the same time I hate it. It's diabolical. I look at it and I can hear a squeaking noise in my brain. It's like one of those pictures I can hear. It's like a flashbang. Finally able to catch a stream since debut. Time to go gambling. Welcome, Phantom. We're just we're building a board game. We're building a board game, and we're talking a love-hate relationship with superhero media and Castlevania and all that. Talked about censorship a little bit earlier. Let's just... let's add the dividing lines in. I think we're almost done cleaning up the draft of the board itself, so this should actually look somewhat understandable soon. That was Meth Wizard's fault. Of course it was Meth Wizard's. It's always Meth Wizard's fault. Like, I can't win here. Do we use a dice to roll how many moves we have, or is the roulette turntable used? So this isn't a roulette. These are just more spaces that you walk around. No, the roulette itself is actually in the center here. And you spin it every turn. And it has numbers. No, these are just more like walking squares. And these ones on the outside are like environment squares. Do you get to pick which direction you get to take? Yes. Actually, I don't know. Do you guys think we should make it like a strict everything is clockwise kind of thing? I don't know. I feel like that starts getting to the territory if we're making too many arbitrary rules. Smaller. Now, board games might be a little bit eclectic and, you know, old-fashioned, especially when video games are, like, so big, but I don't know. Nothing quite beats kicking back with someone you care about and just whipping out a silly little board game. Oh, I almost forgot the last little squares here. Yeah, coffee. I don't know if you were able to catch that on stream. I think the audio was cut, but the spinner was added to cut associations with gambling. That's fascinating. Because the spinner is still very clearly gambling, I will say. But that's a funny kind of concept. They're just sitting there in the room like, how do we make the kids not think that they're playing a game? A luck-based game. I mean, it's life. What is life if not luck-based? Luck-based and skill issue-pilled. Luck-based and issue-pilled. No dice, not gambling, right? I mean, one would argue. Now the question is do we keep the board square? Or do we make the board a circle? Let's move all these here. Make it just a little bit smaller. Let's make it a circle just to see. Because maybe I'll like it. I feel like it'd need to be fit a bit better. I like the square setup regardless. Spin it like a Scrabble board. Excuse me, no spinning a Scrabble board. image. Let's combine that down, the line art down. And let's put our roulette wheel in the middle. Yeah, and then we would put, like, we would color code it and number it. And then maybe, like, we'd have a peg in the middle. And the peg is what you grip onto with your fingers and spin. Alright, I think we've got a pretty solid play area mapped out. Now, I know this, it doesn't look as impressive. You know what? It's because I've got, like, the illustrations in the background, and this is more geometric. This feels more like free-flowing and paper-like. It's two different vibes, and both are all right, but... is this worse? I don't think it's worse, but I don't think at this point that it's better. Maybe instead of dots between it, we do like little electrical lines. We've got stripes. Little rat tunnels. A dartboard vibe. Was that by accident for the middle part? It wasn't on purpose, but I like that. More squares in the outside ring. Well, at that point, my idea was like to have illustrations in the background. So then they start to get lost. Like if I shrink this down a bit. If anything, I feel like the squares maybe could be compressed a little. Make the squares really small. Well, if I make them the same width as the actual ring in the middle, then the squares make more sense too. Let's shrink these down real quick. Oh, power just flickered. Which one of you Merlins made the sky angry? Oh, I actually really like that. It makes it feel both more organic and a little more dynamic. It looks silly, but interesting. I like this move. And it also allows me to put a couple more spaces on there. Like right here. So let's just stick with this right now as the basic board for the main game. Move this down, move this down. And we can adjust as we see fit later. So we'd have 6 rats. We'd each have a basic little piece. Let's say the Chiron one has a top hat. So we got the red Sabletoon. They've got their own little hat, and they've got... maybe the tail is also the same color as the faction that they're representing. We can customize them later. They're not all gonna have top hats. Okay, merge that down. Okay, so we got the Chiron Sabletoon. Let's say we got the Ganeden Sabletoon. Big X over the eye. It's a bit frowny. He's seen some shit. He's rough and tough as nails. The Seraphine one has a little halo. And is taken in by owl propaganda. It's very sweet. The Corruptor has fangs. And a little dent in his head. Because anything that's adjacent to Hawthorne is just so strange. Have a good one, Monkey Chow. Making people feel more attached to the merch by making us design it early. That's crazy. Another thing about the board layout reminds me of Trivial Pursuit. Ah, a little bit. Now we need a scatter gift for all the hat variations. Top hat, fedora, bowler hat, trilby, wide brim, cowboy. Can Zayton have a monocle? Ooh, that's an idea. Tough Shades. I don't know if you're designing, but please. What am I designing? What's the but please for? A dent in their head. Yeah, it's a dent. I think Zayton will have sunglasses and a frown. And like one of those mics that are attached to the head. Now Nakota. Nakota, let's give him like a little bandana. I feel like if anyone gets a monocle, it should be the Chiron Sabletoon. There we go. Make them all like a baseline. Hair's kind of itchy. I think after broadcasting, I'm gonna go take a shower. Alright. So we got the Chiron, we got like the red fire. Doneden, we got the orange fire. Seraphine, we got the pink fire. The fucking goon squad, we got the purple fire. Cobra bubbles, like somebody mentioned earlier, blue fire. And the hippies get the green fire. Actually, we should make it more of like a sage green. Does the dent mean he's dumber or just cosmetic? Poor guy. No, you don't understand. He's got brains growing up sideways. Maybe if he's lucky, they'll turn into horns. Let's give him like little corruption lines. Alright, so we've got our spies in each faction. The casino has sent out 6 rats. 6 rats to carry out its nefarious schemes. And so each rat gets sent to their starting faction where they're to find 3 different... they are assigned 3 different goals each. And they have to fulfill those goals and get back to their starting faction to be able to win. And if you win, you get turned back into a human. Should we add items like your fedora or smoke pipe as an item or collection as part of a mission objective? Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe there's like general things like coins or blackmail letters. But also maybe like specific items like a chunk of Hawthorne's wing flesh or a tuft of fur from Fangsie's mascot. Okay. Move that down. So let's just make this fully transparent again. So we were discussing roles earlier. Oh wait, first let me get rid of the... delete the ruler. There we go. So depending on the faction that you choose at the beginning of the game, you get a bonus helping thing. You start the game off with like a bonus. So 3 corruption tiles so that you can make people skip their turn 3 times. 3 sabotage. You can make people swap their objective cards. 3 immunity. You can block 3 attacks. 3 resources at random. You start the game with 3 randomly drawn resources. 3 poison traps. You put 3 tiles on the board, wherever you like, and if somebody lands on one, then they miss a turn. And 3 swaps. You can pick one of your cards and swap it with one other person randomly. Okay, so those are the advantages of picking whatever faction that you desire. So there's a strategic aspect to it too, on how you like to play the game. Do you like to play defense? Because if you play defense, then you'll want to go immunity. Do you like to be aggressive? Then you'll want to be picking Gan-Eden and be sabotaging. Or you want to pick Nakota and be sabotaging. You want a resource hoard, like the whore you are? Well, then you would pick Zeiton. Feels so weird to have fire and then to not have like white in the middle. Sorry, I gotta fix that. It was bugging me. Didn't look like fire to me. It looked like a leaf. Now it looks like fire. Maybe a general item that all can collect like a flight log. That would be damning. That's crazy. Maybe not 3 traps, but maybe 2 traps and a small buff tile to place to increase strategy. Maybe. I'll think about it. But this is just like the basic initial idea. Everybody gets a... So let's design the mission card. So everybody starts with 3 randomly drawn mission cards. So maybe it's a title. An image. No. A description. And 3 items, or 3 images. So the name of the mission, what you need the items for, what the mission is, and then the 3 items in little cards there, and you get 3 of these each. Make it racist! Well, I mean, you are racing to the end. So 3 missions. And then resource tiles would look like poker chips. And you can pick them up, or you can steal them, or you can start the game with them. And you need them to clear your mission cards. So resource poker chips. A literal rat race then, I dig the concept. Yeah! So let's say one of the resource chips is money. One of them is an item. One is a weapon. And we could have like maybe just like variations of those. One of them is trying to get me to pay my taxes. And then we've got... Hey, thank you guys for the subbing. Got resource chips. And then we've got punishment wild cards. Let's do a front and back. The punishment wild cards can look like playing cards almost. Wild. Well, no, they're action cards. Let's call them that. And these are the ones that you can land on any of the squares. I feel like we need to like make more squares. I'm gonna be so honest. I'll figure that out later. I don't know, maybe it could be just like, maybe the action cards can be just generic shuffled, but there's like 4 colors of action cards, and it can be for like the 4 talents, or 6, and it's just like the 6 factions. And that doesn't do anything, it's just, it looks cool visually. And then on the back, got punish or help. Heading out the board game night myself at my local game store. Have a good one. All right. You don't collect these happen to you. So these happen to you and they influence what happens to you on the board, if you skip a turn, if you get help. The resource chips are what you're collecting, and you're fulfilling the mission. And once you've fulfilled all 3 of your mission cards, you run all the way back to start. And if your cards get interrupted, you have to start again. Or you have to at least fulfill your new missions. A giant 22-inch rat was captured in Britain, thought to be Britain's biggest telegraph. Damn, one of the tunes got pinched for not having the horny license. Oi, bruv, you got a license for watching YouTube? You got an internet license? Okay. Let's say there is 40 action cards. And let's say there's 10 of each chip. No, let's say there's 5 of each chip. Because then if the resources are limited, you're incentivized to steal from other players. And since there's 6 rats, there needs to at least be 3 times 6. 3, 6, 12, 15, 18. Needs to be 18. So let's say there's 24 different missions that could potentially be split amongst 6 rats maximum. So this is a game for between 2 to 6 rats. I don't know, I think this is a pretty good idea. I think this has some fun bare bones. The map definitely needs development, but like the basic idea behind it, I think we got it down pretty solid. Looks pretty solid. Maybe different map variations instead of just one. But this was like a board game in mind, not online or virtual. But if I'm making, if I develop this further, maybe I could make like different versions of the map. The basic idea. Oh. was it would be hand illustrated to have each of the different factions that you're traveling to with each like different portals and stuff. I think the longer I look at the round map, the more I like the idea of the hexagonal map, but that's entirely because I don't like the way the tiles look. I feel like there's a way we can find like a happy medium between the two. We had faction rivalries. Well, I mean, the whole game is you're against each other. It's like factions, you know? Hexagon, Bestagon, maybe. Need ideas for cards and abilities. Okay, let's extend this. Edit, change canvas size. Let's come up with different card ideas. Let's go. Action card ideas. I know that we were, it wasn't Pot of Greed, it was Slot of Greed. I'm not sure what Pot of Greed or Slot of Greed is gonna do, but it's really funny sounding. Outside parts can be interchangeable to allow variation, adding new ones. Yeah. I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards to my deck. Lamau. Draw an additional 2 cards and roll dice. Oh yeah. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 more action. And spin again. What's the line between board games and wargame TTRPGs? These are just subtypes of board games? I'm not sure what the difference is, I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty sure wargames TTRPGs are more role-playing focused, so you're really focused on the character and the story behind it, or at the very least the strategy as it relates to the character. Low-tier barrier to entry board games are more about the mechanics itself. Or steal a card of your choosing from another player. Ooh, actually, I think that one would be less broken. I feel drawing 2 action cards, you have a potential to grab 2 really strong action cards. Whereas if you're stealing... But no, we're not stealing cards. We don't have cards that we're stealing. We can trade, we can get rid of, or we can add to other people's card hands, but we don't want to take mission cards and build up our own, because we're not collecting them. We could steal resources, though. So maybe... Steal a resource and spin again. I think that's good. I think that's interesting. We can have faction-themed cards, and depending on the faction the rat belongs to, they have slightly different decks. I feel like that gets a bit too convoluted. I did say that I want, like, different faction-themed cards, but I don't want them to be in separate decks. I think just them all shuffled into the same deck would be nice. Then it's like a random draw chance that you get one that matches your faction. Maybe that could grant, like, a +1 square bonus move or something. Ava La Evolution destroys 1 mission card from a player. If no one has a card, they'll skip the turn of the person. Okay. I like that. Ava La Evolution. I feel like destroying a whole card Yeah, sure. Destroy one card if none left. Skip a player's turn. Move the player of your choice to a poison trap tile close to them. Only one copy of this card in the deck is suitable. Move them by force and trigger the poison tile. No, I think maybe just a poison card in general would be good. So corrupt and poison. Kind of like the buff that we gave the rats. Each of these rat buffs should be their own card in their own right so that other players have the opportunity to actually use those skills. So corrupt, poison, random, resource, immunity, which is a card they can hold, a swap, and a sabotage. Maybe we can have a few special cards have different effects based on which faction you're in. I think that one would have to be something once we actually develop the cards fully themselves. Assigned to clean Katya's boots. Bootlicker. Target skipped next turn. Skips a turn. We also need punishment cards. So maybe get shot. Just miss a turn. Get squished. Resource. Empty a card. Card is emptied. Bamboozle. Switch places with the person with the next turn. I think that one's a pretty cool one. I think that one would be very irritating or wonderful. Especially if you don't actually have a say in it. Because what if you're like really close somewhere? You've almost got your last resource and then you get hit with a bamboozle and you get sent all the way across the map. That would piss me off. I still think we need to design some core mechanics. Maybe. Which core mechanics do you think we're missing? You can't save these cards, like they have to be used immediately? Yes, because these are action cards. Unless they actually say you can save them. So like, random resource, you just basically randomly get a resource that moment. But immunity, it says hold right here, it acts the same way that the Seraphine immunity works. So you hold on to it until somebody does something against you. So like if somebody plays Bootlicker on you, I think actually Bootlicker, we can have that be a hold card as well. They can hold it and use it later. But if somebody plays Bootlicker on you but you've got immunity, and it's in your hand, then you're safe from it and you both lose it, right? But like, so okay, sabotage, I think that's also a hold card. Swap, I think it's more effective as a punishment if you're forced to do it on the spot. Corrupt, hold. I think we need more interactions between the toons somehow. Well, the only way that... Okay, so how sabotage and corrupt and all that works, my idea wasn't like your turn starts and then you play a card on another toon. My idea was is you can only get... Like, you can only use these punishments or rewards on another toon if you actually catch them on the map. So... if you play like if you roll like a 7 on the roulette and you run into, let's say red runs into pink, then red has the ability to activate his swap ability. But if red is 1 square away from pink, he can't swap with pink. I think the only ones that really would like require not interacting with them physically would be like target skips a turn for bootlicker. I don't know. We'd have to think about that mechanic a bit more after a little more development. I think this is a good place to end off for today. We did some insane development here today. Swap card is Chiron Toon theme, but only the ability you can't hold to. Would their cards just be in the deck get triggered, or whoever draws them forcing them to swap? No, I think if you pick a Chiron Toon, all the rats, those resources you like those you hold. You can only activate your rat ability when you actively engage with somebody else on the board. You actually have to attack them to use them. It's rat on rat violence to use your God-given rat powers. Cards are the ones that I'm iffy about because they're action cards. I feel like they either have to be played immediately in the moment or not at all, or they have to be held. I feel like they're more effective if they're immediately in the moment. So I don't know about the concept of holding action cards. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I feel like action cards and rat ability should be separate, even if they have kind of the same idea. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't have hold ability. They should either be used, and they should be used on the spot. Which again, it forces people to interact with rats that they can't find on the board. I think the only one that can be held is an immunity card, and the immunity card can be a special card. It could be like the one special card in the deck. If you collect immunity cards, those are ones that you can hold. But everything else you have to use on the spot, and if it's useless, then it is what it is. Great. Let's see, is anybody live right now? I feel like Memoria was live. Ah, no, she was playing Wuthering Waves 2 hours ago. Is Fido live soon? Nope. Nope. All right. Well, that's that. We will be back later today at 6 p.m. PST for a short but mighty Zatsu with Hawthorne. We're going to go to the bar. You guys remember the bar cast? I'm going to be dragging Hawthorne into a bar. It's going to be great. For those that weren't here before, well, bar casts are late night, chats at the bar. A few drinks, pleasant company, some edgy topics, and it's very chill. So I'll see you all later again tonight for the second stream. Now I need to go prep some drinks. Does she drink? Well, Jackie Forrests. If she doesn't drink, she will. This is a threat. Now, get out of here. Get out of here. Go away.